Good evening. This is Karol Moros from the YouTube channel Make Programming Fun Again, and this is the fifth part of the Kernighan and Ritchie series. Let me just quickly check if the audio is working because I don't see it properly in here. Okay, yes, it seems so. Great. So, in the last video we were talking about, I think it was this section. We built a poor man's version of the WC program, which was basically counting characters, lines, and words inside a file, and it also said that the parameters in C are like the arguments in C are passed by value, which means that if you pass a variable to a function in C, it will be copied and not passed as a reference. So this means that, basically this had a lot of implications. And if you want to know more, you can watch the previous video or read the book, which I encourage you to do. And in the meantime, let us talk more about the topic of today's video, which will be, I guess it's character arrays. And that's basically a string. Because in C there is no real string type. If you want to store a string, you need to allocate an array of characters, and this is the only string type in C. Okay, 1.9 character arrays. The most common type of array in C is the array of characters. To illustrate the use of character arrays and functions to manipulate them, let's write a program that reads a set of text lines and prints the longest. The outline is simple enough. While there is another line, if it's longer than the previous longest, save its length, print longest line. This outline makes it clear that the program divides naturally into pieces. One piece gets a new line, another tests it, another saves it, and the rest controls the process. Since things divide so nicely, it would be well to write them that way too. Accordingly, let us first write a separate function getline to fetch the next line of input. When we will try to make the function useful in other contexts. At the minimum, getline has to return a signal about possible end of file. A more useful design would be to return the length of a line, or 0 if end of file is encountered. 0 is an acceptable end of file return because it is never a valid line length. Every text line has at least one character. Even a line containing only a new line has length 1. When you found a line that is longer than the previous longest line, it must be saved somewhere. This suggests a second function, copy, to copy the new line to a safe place. Finally, we need to make a main program to control getline and copy. Here is the result. Okay, split screen, and I don't remember. I don't know if there is a name for this file, but okay, yeah, I'll just call it longest. Okay, include standard ios h. Define max line 1000, and that's maximum input line size. In getline, yeah, these are prototypes for functions char line array. Oh yeah, array line, which is an array of chars. Int max line void copy char2 char from, like this. What does it say? conflicting types for getline. So apparently in like later, wait, what? Okay. And this is in stdioh. So I guess something happened between. Okay, I guess something happened between the publication of this book and my. Yeah, I guess the function called getline already exists in C. At least it used to be GNU. I think it used to be. Sorry for jumping around the screen, but I'm looking for the. Okay, they were standardized in POSIX 1 2008, and I don't know of any way to use like an older version of C. GCC use older NCC. Okay, let's see if I can even compile it. GCC ANSI get longest C. Okay, undefined reference to main, so int main like this. Let's see if it. Okay, so okay, yeah, okay. So, and does it compile with Clang? It does. Okay, so right now, and what if I compile it without the ANSI flag? Okay, so the thing is that we need to compile it with the ANSI C flag because the getline function already exists in the standard library. As we saw in the documentation, getline is already defined as part of a C standard library, and it wasn't when this book was published. So do not try this at home, as in do not try to implement your own getline because one already exists in the standard library. And therefore I am going to compile this this file with the ANSI flag. So make file, or you know what? Maybe I'll just define a an environment variable so that all files are compiled with the ANSI flag. So I think it was called CC flags. Is there like get CC flags? Okay. C flags. Okay. What about man C flags? Okay. What if I say exports CD5 export C flags equals ANSI, make longest? Yeah, that works. So I'm going to define a MISA file because I'm using MISA to set my variables and install as many runtimes. So I'm just going to say C flags equals ANSI MISA trust. And if I start a new terminal, the C flags variable should be set to ANSI. Okay, great. So okay, so Clang D is still complaining about the about these. I will research when I'm not recording. I will research if there is a way to like enforce ISO C89 in Clang D. And if not, I'll just yeah. So we can I don't think we can do anything about this getline thing, but we should be able to do something about like, I don't know. Okay, yeah. So I'll just define the return type as int, and then the second warning is silenced. But I don't think there is anything we can do about the conflicting declaration of getline for reasons outlined above. Okay, I go ahead and okay, print longest input line and int length, and that's current line length, int maximum length seen so far, char line max line, current input line, char longest max line, current input longest line saved here. Max equals 0 while length equals getline line max line is greater than or equal to 0, greater than 0 if length is greater than maximum equals length, and copy longest line like this. Okay, great. And now it's going to complain about the arguments as well. So maybe like later on I will try to rewrite it to be actually use getline from the standard library, but for now we just have to bear with the LSP warnings. If max is greater than 0, print f as longest. And notice that we do not need to pass a new line because there will be already a new line in the line we are parsing. We have captured from the text. Return 0. Okay. Like this. Get line, read a line into s, return length. Int get line, char s, int lim. Okay, I guess this is going to be a limit to the actual length we are going to read. So int ci for I equals 0, I is less than limit -1, and c equals get char is not, so until end of file, and c is not a new line, I++. Okay, s of I equals c plus I. If c equals n new line, s of I equals c plus I. S of I equals 0. Okay, return I. Okay. This looks pretty confusing. I'm not entirely sure I understand what this. Okay, this is. I'm not entirely sure I understand what this code does, but I think there will be an explanation later on. Copy from into to assume 2 is big enough. Okay. Void copy char2 char from. Both are arrays, which means they're basically pointers. And then int I equals 0, while 2 of I equals prom of I is not as 0. Is 0 like the string delimiter I++. Okay. Let's see. So I will see if there's like an explanation. The functions getline and copy are declared at the beginning of a program, which we assume is contained in one file. Main and getline communicate through a pair of arguments and a return value. In getline, the arguments are declared by the line in getline char array s int lim for limit, which specifies that the first argument s is an array and the second lim is an integer. The purpose of supplying the size of an array in a declaration is to set aside storage. The length of the array s is not necessary in getline since its size is set in main. Getline uses return to send a value back to the caller, just as the function power did. This line also declares that getline returns an integer. Since integer is the default return type, it could be omitted in ANSI. We are not going to omit it because ClangD will complain about it, as it already does. Some functions return a useful value, others like copy are used only for their effect and return no value. The return type of copy is void, which states explicitly that no value is returned. Getline puts the character null, the null character whose value is 0, at the end of the array it is creating to mark the end of the string of characters. This convention is also used by the C language. When a string constant like hello new line appears in a C program, it is stored as an array of characters containing the characters of a string and terminated with S0, a null terminator, to mark the end. The %s format specification in printf expects the corresponding argument to be a string represented in its form. Copy also relies on the fact that its input argument is terminated by null character, and it copies this character into the output argument. All of this implies that null character is not part of normal text. It is worth mentioning in passing that even a program as small as this one presents some sticky design problems. For example, what should main do if it encounters a line which is bigger than its limit? Getline works safely in that it stops collecting when the array is full, even if no new line has been seen. By testing the length and the last character returned, main can determine whether the line was too long and then cope as it wishes. In the interests of brevity, we have ignored the issue. Great. There is no way for a user of getline to know in advance how long an input line might be, so getline checks for overflow. On the other hand, the user of copy already knows or can find out how big the strings are, so we have chosen not to add error checking to it. Revise the main routine of the longest line program so it will correctly print the length of arbitrarily long input lines and as much as possible of the text. Okay. Yeah, first I'm going to compile it. And then cut longest C to longest. Okay, I guess this is the longest. Yeah, this is the longest line in the file. And okay, I'm going to commit it first. Yeah, quick, because I'm going to modify the code. So oh shit, sorry, wait, git reset. Yeah, I'm not really used to Git these days. Yes, so what did we do? Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to... The log says, okay, so jj edit m jj status. Okay, so we remove 05 and a out, and then we copy 04's git ignore to 05, and then jj status should say that we have ignored it. Okay. Oh, we should also ignore. We should also delete the longest file, and then okay. And now we can say jj new. Okay, and now we can modify the file. And I think I was a bit too quick with defining the ANSI standard for everything, because for that particular file I actually do not want to use the standard, so I guess I will just define a separate makefile, and then I will copy this longest C as to longest ANSI. Let's see, and then in the makefile I will just define to define that the longest ANSI is C flags equals ANSI CC, okay, or just say CC ANSI longest ANSI. I'm not really great at make files, so if there is like a better way to define it, it would be great. And then I'll just set cflags to nothing. Okay, make longest. Yeah, so since I defined that cflags is nothing and then longest ANSI, this works, right? And then if I define that longest like the default. Okay, let me show it to you once again. Okay, so this makefile is in a different directory, right? Is it? Or no, it's here. Why is this make? Okay, so we need to unignore makefile. Okay, so In this make file, I explicitly reset the cflags variable because I set the cflags variable globally for the whole repository because I wanted to specifically compile this original version of the longest program with the ANSI settings, otherwise it wouldn't compile, because getline is this definition of getline is different from the one found in the C standard library of today. On the other hand, I want to write a function that is not using ANSI C, as in it's using like I think it's C11 or whatever we have right now. Sorry, I forgot when the latest C variant comes from. So I'll store the ANSI variant in this file, and in here I think I'm going to use I think I'm just going to use the real getline, right? So getline, what does it say? So char is the line, file restrict stream, and this I guess is just going to be std in, right? What is it supposed to say? Okay, so incompatible pointer types. So this is technically a compatible pointer type, but size t. So size t is long, like this. Oh, okay. I need to see some examples for a real getline. So getline reads an entire line from stream, storing the address of the buffer containing the text into line pointer. The buffer is null terminated and includes the new line character if one was found. If line pointer is set to null before the call, then getline will allocate a buffer for storing the line. The buffer should be freed by the user. If line pointer is set to null, okay, what? The buffer should be freed by the user program even if getline failed. Alternatively, before calling getline, line pointer can contain a pointer to a malloc allocated buffer and binds in size. If the buffer is not large enough to hold the line, getline resizes it with realloc, updating line pointer and n as necessary. In either case, on a successful call, line pointer and n will be updated to reflect the buffer address and allocated size respectively. GetDelim works like getline, except that a line delimiter other than newline can be specified as the delimiter argument. As with getline, a delimiter character is not added if one was not present in the input before end of file was reached. On success, getline and getDelim return the number of characters read, including the delimiter character, but not including the terminating null byte. This value can be used to handle embedded null bytes in the line read. Embedded null, what? Both functions return -1 on failure to read a line, including end of file condition. In the event of a failure, error number is set to indicate the error. The line pointer was set to null if line, okay, but arguments line pointer is null or stream is not valid. Okay. Examples: file is stream, char line is null, size t length, and read Okay, so apparently, okay, let me split the screen in here. So let's save it here. Okay, longest C, and then so I'm going to use okay, char line is null, size t, length is 0. Okay. Max equals 0. So this will be okay. And then the char longest equals null. Okay, and what does the limit stand for? Restrict and storing the address. Okay. And allocated size respectively. Okay. Okay, let's see. And then the char longest equals now. Okay. So then I can pass length. Okay. It's while it's greater than 0. Okay, yeah, this will work. Max equals length, and then yeah, but we don't need this definition of getline. And copy. And what does this say? Okay, let's see if this even compiles. Make longest. Cut longest C to longest. Segmentation fault. Great. Longest. So, and where does this segmentation fault come from? Okay, GDB. How do I compile with GDB compile with debug symbols like this? Okay. cflags equals -g make longest. Okay, and a GDB longest. No. How did I do it in the? I think I did something similar in video 2. Basically, pass std in to GDB. Run params. Okay, let's see. Okay, we want to make a breakpoint on main and line 16. Okay. And now we want to run it with input from longest C. Okay, and info locals. Okay, so longest is 0 and max is what? Max is a pointer. Okay. So if length is greater than, okay, so why is max a pointer? What did it say? Okay, size to length is 0 and red oh, okay, so nred is get line. So we read from line is a pointer, longest is 0, length is 0, max is, why is max a bullshit value? Okay, let's see again. Run longest segmentation fault. Run input longest C. Okay, segmentation fault. Info. Okay, I think we are, this is happening because we are trying to copy data from to a null pointer, and this is because we are currently using getline, which allocates the text. We are currently basically using pointers like this. So I could do something like malloc max line, malloc and malloc max line, like this. And if this yes, will this still fail? Okay, so longest with input from longest.c. Okay. So now at least it does not complain. So maybe instead of doing this, I can do a string copy, and then I'm going to, this is copying from which direction? What's destination source? Okay, so I'm going to copy to longest from line, like this. And now okay, it still seems to work. And okay, so let's see what it still says uses the first line. Okay, so if length is greater than max, it's probably not going to be greater. So what does, I'm going to run it in the debugger again. So run from longest.c, exit it normally, breakpoint on line 16. Okay, so I wanted to break on line 16. Okay, info locals. Okay, so line is a pointer, longest is a null pointer. What? Maximum is a stupid value. Why is it a stupid value? What? How does getline work? So line, it has to be a pointer to a char, and length has to be a pointer to size t. And size t is an unsigned long. And you read from standard input. So why is maximum 0? Oh, because we haven't initialized it. Okay, so continue. Again, recompile it. GDB longest, run with input from longest. Okay, breakpoint. On breakpoint on longest, C line 16. Okay. Run with input from longest.c. Source file is more recent than executable. Why? Okay, quit anyway. Compile. Rerun it. Breakpoint on longest.c line 16. Run with input from longest.c. Okay, what does info locals say? Okay, line is currently this, length is greater than on max. Okay, so length should be greater than max. Okay, so continue. Info locals. Okay. So why does it read the same line over and over again? Get line from standard input. Okay. Okay, so it seems that for some reason the so getline does not seem to wait, what? Okay, so this is okay. No, this is correct. The next line is, but why? Why does it say it's 120? Oh, because this is the length of the allocated buffer and not the, okay, so I have to say while and red equals like this. Size t and red. Is this going to return an integer or a size t? Yeah, it's returning a size t. And red equals 0. Okay. Is the different than -1. Okay, so if and red max equals and red. Okay, so now okay, now it seems to work correctly because this seems to be the longest line in this file. Okay, I guess the standard library solved it for us. Wow. What does the book say? So it will correctly print the length of arbitrarily long input lines and as much as possible of the text. So I need to make a file with a very long line. Do I have something like this? Well, okay, for example, I can cut this longest C file. Okay, what does it print the correct the correct result for longest.nc.c? Yes, this is still the correct longest line. And I remember I should still free the line. I should free the longest. Okay, I can free the line here because I'm not going to use it after this loop. And what else do we have to we have to close the stream and exit. We don't need to close the stream because this is standard input. Anyway, make longest and then longest with input from longest and c.c. Okay. And what if we say man getline and we pass it to longest? Yeah, I guess this is, so this, do we even need to define this for now? So for example, if I say like this, will this still work? No, it's segmentation false. It's seg false. So does it say it has to be long? So what if I had okay, let's say I have a file that is 1500 lines long. So I could probably just get it by repeating. Okay, I just write a file to I just quickly write a program to repeat a string, right? Int main. So for int I equals 0, I is less than or equal to 1500, I plus plus, put char a, and then put char new line like this, make repeat, and then repeat. Okay, so it prints a very long string, and then if you pass it to longest, okay, so for some reason, oh, I see, because it, okay, but we reallocated, so what does string copy do? Does string copy realloc? So did I just do something stupid? So I guess the buff size will be initially allocated to max, to set to max line or something like this. Yeah, I totally have no idea how to handle this. I probably should ask somebody after this stream. This is way too complicated for this part of the book. So let's, if nred is greater than max and max is if len is greater than buff size, realloc longest length. Oh, okay, longest equals realloc this and string copy and then buff size equals length. Okay, I guess I can just say max length is 0 and this is going to be null. Okay. Okay, so it seems that for in the beginning we do not need to modify to allocate a line at all, and this could also be null, right? Because getline will definitely allocate, getline will always allocate a buffer for me, right? So we allocate the line to a null pointer, then getline will allocate a buffer for me, and then we read the file, and if the buffer is greater than the one we have previously allocated for it, we reallocate a new one, and then we store the length that we allocated for it. So does it still work with input from longest.ncc? Yep. And does it still work with input from longest c? Okay. Let me see. I'll just make sure we are actually returning 105. Okay, we are returning 1500 lines in here, and okay, so I think the string is this video is slowly coming to an end, and we have done a crazy lot of strange modifications to this file, and we also touched the, okay, we don't need this copy declaration here. So I have introduced 3 header files, standard IO, standard lib, and standard and string. We need standard stdlib for realloc and free, and we need stdio. Okay, stdio has getline, and string h has string copy, and so apparently a null pointer can be reallocated with realloc. So this is great. And getline already has some safeguards in place to just define a buffer big enough for us to you know, so we don't have to worry about dynamically allocating these sizes, because if we we don't have to worry about dynamically allocating those sizes, because getline will always get a new one for us, and then we get the actual size of that new buffer, and you can use it with realloc. And I think we can also print the length, size t, which is I think it's an LD. Okay, make longest, and then longest with result from longest.c. Okay, is this line actually 56 characters long? I'll just go and see which column it is. 11. This is column number 55, and the length is 56 because of the new line, and then there will be a zero during the delimiter. Okay, can we get yes, we can get this line. Like, we can print the maximum length of this line. And what if we print like get months create table from Postgres? Okay, create table longest. Okay, yeah, this. Okay, so I don't know if this counts as cheating, because we have technically completely ignored two functions defined in the book, because, you know, we had to write a function for define a function for getline. Like in the book, they define a function, their own getline function, and they define their own string copy function. And basically in modern C we have both of those. I will also check if string copy, where was it included. So it seems it was standardized in C99. But I'm pretty sure there was a string copy in older C. Anyway, string copy is useful because it basically just copies that string from basically copies strings, and we do not have to write our own string copy function, I guess. But the exercise was actually asked us to do something else. It asked us to use the existing getline getline function, and just so we will print we do not have to reallocate or store the program itself. We just need to correctly calculate its length and then print as much as possible. So yeah, we technically didn't properly solve the exercise. We just did it with the standard library, which I guess if we were actually developing, this would be a valid approach. And since we are not developing, we are learning, I think I will try to actually do that exercise tomorrow. And if you have enjoyed this video or learned something from it, and if you enjoy struggling seeing me struggle with a C standard library, and then please like and subscribe. I hope you learned something, and I will see you tomorrow.